Hello and welcome back to Shakesyear. We are working on the sonnets, and today we've got Sonnet 21, which goes, "So is it not with me as with that muse, stirred by a painted beauty to his verse, who heaven itself for ornament doth use, and every fair with his fair doth rehearse, making a couplement of proud compare with sun and moon, with earth and sea's rich gems, with April's firstborn flowers, and all things rare that heaven's air in this huge roundure hems. Oh, let me, true in love, but truly right. And then, believe me, my love is as fair as any mother's child, though not so bright as those gold candles fixed in heaven's air. Let them say more that like of hearsay well, I will not praise that purpose not to sell." So this, again, you could look at this individually by itself, or you can look at it as part of the series. And I think a lot of people who have analyzed it over the years look at this as part of the series. So they take this this particular sonnet to be an attack against perhaps another poet that Shakespeare knows. The first line, "So is it not with me as with that muse," talking about somebody else who has a muse, but that particular muse is a woman who wears too much makeup, and she happens to be like everybody else's muse too. So that particular poet is only as creative and original in their poetry as to compare that muse's beauty to the sun and the moon and the stars and the firstborn flowers and all these rare things and stuff like that. A lot of people who analyze this particular sonnet think that that was one specific poet that Shakespeare was specifically digging at to get at this sort of thing. But you could also argue in the last couple of sonnets, while Shakespeare has been talking about whether or not his poetry is going to be enough to keep the fair youth's beauty alive, he could be maybe sort of second-guessing himself here, or wondering if he's falling into the same traps, because in a lot of his previous sonnets, he was sort of making those cliched comparisons about the fair youth's beauty. So he could be saying, how is my poetry going to make this person's beauty stand out if I'm writing the same stuff as everybody else is writing? So in either scenario, there is kind of a dig at the constant cliches in poetry that is written about somebody who is specifically beautiful. But then in lines 9 through 12, Shakespeare, the speaker, is saying, since I am truly in love here, let me write truly. Let me show what this beauty actually is, because this beauty is the most beautiful thing that exists, even if it doesn't maybe twinkle as much as the stars in the sky do or anything like that. And then in the very last two lines, what Shakespeare is saying, you know what? If those other poets want to go out there and tell everybody how beautiful their muses are, let them. Maybe it's better that I don't, because if I don't, then nobody will want to come and steal my muse. Sort of a thing. I don't want to play up the beauty of my fair youth too much, because then other people will want my muse, will want him, will want my fair youth. So a couple different ways that you could look at it, depending on if you look at it just as one piece, or depending on what eyes you're looking at it through. This could be Shakespeare being mean and petty towards his rival poets, or this could be Shakespeare being introspective for a moment and trying to push himself to be better than he has been previously. So, I don't know. What do you think? Leave me a comment. I'll see you tomorrow for Sonnet 22. Mwah.